G'day. Most people are aware that Australians have developed a pretty unique way of saying things, known as Aussie slang, and it kind of embodies everything you need to know about the Australian culture. It's our laid back way of life, followed by all who live here. We're all equals, no matter whether you're a businessman, a doctor, a servo attendant, a cleaner, or unemployed, we're all the same, and everyone's about respect and a fair go. The Aussie accent has developed quite rapidly when you consider that English only started getting spoken here just over 200 years ago. Around our great land, there's a fair bit of variation in the dialect, but not enough to make distinct accents, just some regional variation. So, in this video, let's explore how to pronounce the 20 most common Aussie slang words directly from an Aussie. So, first up is mate. Almost everyone is familiar with the term mate, and in Australia, we use it very liberally to foster a sense of collegiality and friendship. So, if an electrician turns up to your house to fix some lights, they're going to call you mate, and you'll do the same. If someone at the coffee shop lets you go ahead of them in the queue, you're going to say, "Thanks, mate." It doesn't matter if you've never met the person before, it's about establishing good and friendly relations with everyone around you. Next up is the bottle-o. This quintessential Australian term refers to a liquor or a wine shop. In Australia, it's against the law to have alcohol up for sale in areas that can be accessed by minors, like a supermarket. So instead, alcohol is sold in a standalone shop called the bottle-o. Yep, bottle with an O. So this leads us into the next Aussie slang word, an esky. If you're going to the beach with a couple of mates, you're going to make sure you've got plenty of ice in your esky. So an esky is basically a chiller box or an ice cooler box, and it's a very common feature of the Aussie landscape. And it makes sense. It's so bloody hot, we all love a cool drink. Next up is one that Aussies do subconsciously. Have you ever tried to ask one of us a yes or a no question? Most of the time, we'll start doing something pretty different. As we decide whether the answer is a yes or a no, we basically verbalize the entire process with either for a no, yeah, nah, or for yes, yeah, nah, yeah. Basically, it's being polite. We're demonstrating to the asker that we are considering their question, that we'd like to say yes, but on the balance of multiple factors, we have to say no. There's actually a lot of nuance to this that people from overseas may not immediately realize. The order of the yeahs and the nahs is extremely important, as is the emphasis, the tone, and of course the final answer. It becomes an intricate dance of deliberation, verbalised so uniquely and succinctly that only Australians can really understand the full complexity of the answer. For example, yeah, nah, yeah, yep, yeah. Now, ask us a really tricky one where we have to deliberate on a whole bunch of factors. It might get even longer. Now, the next one's pretty tricky. If I say Jono's completely devo, what am I saying? Devo. It's devastated. This is yet another Aussie slang term that we use to express our utter disgust at the circumstances Jono's facing. Now, again, this term is pretty nuanced. He might actually be devo. Maybe his girl just broke up with him and he's completely devoed about it. Or maybe he's devoed about something pretty minor and he's just looking for some sympathy. So it's a bit of an exaggeration, but the use of the term implies some significant emotional distress of the said circumstances, and we're all just supposed to agree and go along with it because he's devoed. Alternatively, it can be used to express your empathy for someone who's experienced some pretty bad circumstances. So if someone's really elaborating, they're telling you their life story, you've got a simple reply: devoed. Enough said. Now, this is another one you may not have heard of before. So let's say you're getting ready to go out, but then someone turns to you and they say, "Hey guys, I don't think it's really a good idea. I just went out there and I got completely satched." What are they saying to you? Well, what they're saying is they just went outside and it was raining so badly that they got completely saturated. Their clothes were wet, their shoes were wet. It's just not worth it. So the Aussie slang term here is satched. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this Aussie slang term is chockers. What am I saying? Chockers. It's crowded or overcrowded. And you can use this in a lot of different situations and contexts. So, for example, you're at a dance party, the crowd is building, you can't move, and you go, "Hey guys, it's completely chockers. Let's just go around here. It's going to be easier." Or you can use it in a positive context. So, "Hey mate, how was the crowd tonight?" "Man, it was awesome. It was so chockers." So it's short for chock-a-block full, but we just say chockers. All right, next one. I reckon you'll know this. The next one is, what am I saying if I say, oh, good on you, mate, you're a pretty good bloke? You're saying, great job. We really like you. You're a good guy. So again, this is pretty simple. It's good on you, shortened to good on ya. Good on ya. Next one. What's a dunny? A dunny. Now, this one's pretty simple too. A dunny is a toilet. Back in the day, they used to have outdoor toilets that weren't attached to the main residence, and it was called a dunny. Of course, like everyone, we've got indoor toilets now, but this is a throwback to the past. A dunny. All right, what about this one? What am I saying if I say the wops or whoop whoop? They're both saying the same thing. What is the wops or whoop whoop? Now, this is really unique to Australia. So, we have a large population, but it's very, very much densely populated around the coast with vast deserts in the middle. They're uninhabited, mostly with smaller regional towns dotted through the outback of varying sizes. But the distances to get to them are considerable. So, if you're saying you're going out to the Wops, you're heading out to Whoop Whoop, you're going somewhere out in the outback. People probably don't even know where it is. It's going to take you hours to get there. You're just heading out to the Wops. Okay, to a funny one. What is a budgie smuggler? Is this part of like our biosecurity measures for people who want to smuggle budgies? No, this is about beach attire for men. Yes, there is a dress code for the beach, and budgie smugglers unfortunately have creeped into it. This is a budgie smuggler. Little bit too much unleft to the imagination. Board shorts, boys, board shorts. Now, this next one is one that surprises people, but here it's pretty normal. We don't even consider it slang. But trousers are pants, and pants covers everything. So that's your jeans, cargo pants, long, short pants, male, female, it doesn't matter. Everything's pants. And it's pretty normal. We don't even think it's slang. Tracky dacks is slang. That might be for your tracksuit pants, a tracky dacks. That's about it. Along the same line is a type of footwear that gets a lot of flack if you're from Australia. But again, very normal. We're only going to call it one thing, and that's a thong. You're going to wear this to the beach. You're going to wear this to the shops. You're going to wear this to the movies. You're going to wear this, if you've got a job interview, maybe. I mean, you might get away with it in some job interviews, not all of them, but you're going to think about it. You're going to wish you had them on. Thongs, flip flops. Why not? And this leads me into the next one. A snag. What's a snag? Is it like a fishing reference? No. A snag is a sausage, the quintessential meat of the Aussie barbie, a barbecue. Put a couple snags on the barbie, light them up. We love it. Beautiful. All right. This one may not seem too diff, but lollies mean all kinds of candy. It's not just one particular type like a lollipop. Lollies is everything. It's your gummy bears, it's your hard candy, it's your Skittles, it's your licorice, lollies. Everything's just lollies. Yeah, we don't say candy. We don't really use any other terms. That's it. All right, let's move track completely now. What's a bludger? A bludger. Look, it's not a good term. You don't want someone coming up to you and saying, I think you're being a bit of a bludger here. Not good. You're mooching off them. It means you're not working hard. You're just trying to take the easy road, sit back on your ass, doing no work, expecting people to just hand you shit. Bludger. There was a term where this used to be used to describe people who were on welfare or dole or social benefits. They'd call them the Aussie bludgers. And look, became a bit of an Aussie icon. Again, a bit like Bogans, a little bit romanticised. Some people thought it was hilarious. So it can have quite a positive connotation in some aspects, but no one really wants to be a bludger. We're all bloody hardworking. We just are really laid back at the same time. Okay, so if that's what a bludger is, then what's a bogan and how's that different? Look, I guess you could say a bogan is kind of the modern version of an Aussie bludger, but they've just taken that to a whole new level. I mean, there are so many different types of bogans as well. You got your standard bogan, mullet, singlet shirt, no shoes, stubby shorts, beer can, cigarette. He just doesn't care what anyone thinks. He's loud mouth, tell him it, he'll tell it to you straight. and they'll go off to the pokies. Then you got your upmarket bogans. Man, these guys have been doing the tradie job for a while. You know, they got the speedboat, the jet ski, all the boys' toys. You know, four-wheel drives and the 4-car garage, 3-story house, investment property. Yeah, a hell of a lot of cash. But they're still the same bogan that I first described through and through. You know, just got more shit. So basically, a bogan is someone who doesn't follow the social norms that the rest of us follow. Um, and it's such an interesting character to watch. You've got to kind of respect their attitude and their ability to not give a crap what anyone else thinks. Boganism, it's a lifestyle. Okay, so let's move on to another Australian classic. It's, of course, no worries or no worries, mate. I have to say, I think this is one of my favourite Australian sayings of all time. It embodies our laid back, relaxed culture that's all about equality. We don't like worrying, we don't like stress, we don't like to blame another person or panic about anything. It's all about taking it in your stride. And this reminds me of another classic Australian term, and of course, this is Australia. Yes, the shortened word for Australia. I mean, why say the full word when you can just say half? Now, look, I think if you live here long enough, you'll be coming up with some pretty unique shortenings of your own. And look, give us your best shot. You never know what's going to take off. You might be the next slang creator. So go ahead, shorten it, try it out on us, and let's take it from there. Now, this brings us to the final, the 20th Aussie slang word that we're discussing in the video today. And it is a tinny. A tinny. And look, we're pretty simple. We're either going to add an O or a Y at the end. This one, it's got a Y. And this is a tinny. It's your entry level boat. Look, we love our water sports. We're going to try and be on the water in any way, shape, or form that we can. And your entry level boat is a tinny. The motors, look, it's not going to be great. Are you going to get far? Well, you're going to try, but you're probably going to have to turn back once you get out to the big waves. But you got a boat, man. That's a tinny. So that brings us to the end of our top 20 Aussie words and how to pronounce them. I hope you found this amusing. Look, was it a documentary into the contextual use of Australian linguistics? Yeah, nah. But it did provide some real life examples of common phrases that you'll hear from real Aussies down under. So please like and subscribe so that we can continue to create more amusing Aussie content and comedy for you. And stay tuned for our next video. Thanks, guys. Good on ya.